because these are the conversations that will be taking place over the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Arch Manning, should he be QB1 at Texas? Real quick, in case you missed it over the weekend, because they played UTSA, so maybe everybody didn't see this. So if you listen to this, you probably knew. Quinn Ewers gets hurt in that game. Arch Manning comes in, plays out of his mind, 5 touchdown drives, including a very long touchdown run we'll get into. And initially, they did not feel great about the Ewers injury. Now, the latest reporting that I've seen from ESPN's Pete Thamel is that they now believe it's a minor abdominal strain. I think at first it was feared to be something much more serious. He's being listed as week to week. They're saying he'll likely miss ULM. So this whole start Arch conversation, Aaron, with a ULM game on the horizon and when she may enter the game knowing he's a starter and play the entire game, this noise could potentially only get louder over the next couple of weeks.
No, it definitely is going to get louder. Listen, I just finished rewatching the tape of the game, so I went back and watched every snap of Arch Manning, and just a little also news for everyone. We're putting a quick pause in the quarterback reviews, hoping to come back in a week or so we will keep you updated on that one. But we are going to pause it for certain reasons.
Yeah. So. Okay, hold on. Let's sit here for a second because just know, guys. Okay, Aaron especially, but me and Aaron, we're like, who invented the printing press, Aaron? Was it Guggenheim or something? I can't remember. We're the guy that invented the printing press. Okay, we're trying to educate the masses. We're trying to bring the information to the people in a way that literate people can understand. There's a lot of college football powers that be that want to keep everything in Latin. They want to keep you in the dark. They don't actually want you to know how your quarterback played, okay? We do. We're losing the fight right now, but we are fighting. And we're not going to give up. Just know that. So there's a slight
write to your local congressman to make it happen for us. We appreciate it.
Yes, there's a slight hold on the film reviews. Here's to hoping we'll have some good news around the corner. But we're fighting, guys. We're fighting. That's all you need to know. Anyway.
All right, so going back, watch the tape. There were a handful of plays that were really, really, really good. Like the run was terrific. I think he got up to like 21 miles per hour, which is freaking flying. That's like low 4.5 speed, like maxing out. Like that is a dude that is moving down the field. I don't care who you're playing against. He was outrunning DB. So like that was impressive. He had a throw to his left. I'm going to post later on social media, not on YouTube, that threw a deep angle route to his left, which was an absolute dime. You know, the fade on the inside was beautiful, but like 2 of the touchdowns, one, the DB tripped over himself. The guy's wide open. Another one was a wheel route where his receiver was just faster and ran by everyone. It's like not saying I'm not impressed with Arch Manning, what he did. But for those who think that right now, this is the moment where you put all your stock in Arch Manning this year and say he's better than Quinn Ewers, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
You're an idiot. Quinn Ewers is a beast. Quinn Ewers went into Tuscaloosa last year and dominated. Went into Michigan a week ago. I know this is not the same Michigan team, but dominated. He is a proven winner. He has proven he can handle himself in any environment. Why the hell would you take that away from him and this football team that is currently ranked number 1 in the country? Ewers is your guy. Arch is the future. Arch maybe potentially could get to be Ewers or better than Ewers, but right now, today, Quinn Ewers is the better quarterback, and I don't care if Arch goes out there and throws another 5 touchdowns this weekend. Quinn is better.
Yeah. So I'm glad, and we didn't plan it this way, and I know I can be overly talkative. So I'm glad that I got out the way and let you state that first, because your opinion and evaluation in this situation obviously means miles more than mine does. You just rewatched every Arch snap, of which I only really watched the highlights. But again, even as a layman, even as a dumb little common English speaker, like, what are we talking about, guys? Like, if you're actually, and I know the conversations, like even we are playing into the game, which is you do the headline and then you kind of shut down the headline, but you do the headline because that's what people click on, right? I get it. We're all slaves to the algorithm. But like we just talked the last couple of weeks about how unreal Quinn Ewers is playing right now, how confident, how slowed down the game looks like. and you're having a little bit of the highest quality version of the Peter Griffin conundrum. Do you want a boat or the mystery box? Well, the boat's a boat, but the mystery box will be anything. It's even a boat. Arch Manning is like Quinn Ewers 1 year ago, maybe like a year and a half ago. It's like, why would you take someone with less experience who's still kind of having to figure things out versus the guy who looks so calm, cool, and collected, just completely unflappable? Well, you want it. And Texas doesn't. This is not a conversation that is taking place in the Texas building at all. So full shutdown. This is not like the Wigman situation. It's not like the Mertz situation. Those guys are playing bad. Their backups have way more talent, way more potential. I don't even know that Manning has more potential. You could argue, that's fine. That's a more.
Well, I think people are saying he's more potential because they saw the run, because they saw Arch Manning pull off a 60, 70-yard touchdown run in which he outran the defender. So they're like, oh my God, Quinn doesn't have that. And Quinn has good athleticism. We saw that in the first few games of the season. He's able to pull it down, get you a first down. Quinn ain't going to run 21 miles per hour. Quinn is not going to outrun DBs and get you a 60, 70-yard touchdown. So they equivalent athletic quarterback to an improved quarterback, because that is the nature of games nowadays. You look at the NFL and the type of quarterbacks they're going after. You look at some of the most successful quarterbacks in college football right now. Everyone loves their running quarterback. I get it. It opens up the game plan. It allows you to do so much more. But Quinn, with what Sark does, and I think that has to be part of the conversation too. You brought up Wegman in Texas A&M. Who's the offensive coordinator? It's Klein. You look at what he's done in the past as an OC. He is built more for a running quarterback with what he wants to do, and that's why the quarterback had success for A&M this weekend. It's a better fit. And Manning's a good blend because Manning's a good thrower, but he's a great athlete on top of that. What Sark wants to do is allow the concepts to win, allow receivers to win, and then have an elite quarterback get those guys the ball in space and allow them to go win. So to me, Quinn fits perfectly with what Sark is trying to accomplish. We saw it last year. We've seen it at the start of the beginning of the season. And through the first 3 games of the season, honestly, like Quinn is now 100% in the conversation of the number 1 quarterback taken in the NFL draft next year, from what I've seen.
You think he's passed up Carson Beck?
He's played better than Carson to start the season.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind he's passed Carson at the beginning of the season.
So I love this comment from Dobby, because this is how I feel about it too. He says, Aaron, does Ewers throw slow, or is it the way he slings it? Looks really smooth. No, when I talk about Ewers' ball feel, or if I want to be a bit, funny, when I talk about the touch on his balls and how unreal it is, it's not slow. That is by design, how he's throwing those balls.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron, I want you to speak on, again, for us laymen, what's the advantages, right? Because we always think speed, velocity over everything, get the ball there immediately. But what's the advantages to be able to throw accurately and on time, but with the touch that Quinn Ewers does? And how unique is that?
So it's funny because I was talking to Jeremy Maclin last night. Jeremy Maclin is All-American receiver at Missouri, played in the NFL, first-round draft pick by Philly. I was teammates with him in Kansas City for a couple seasons, and he loves to give me shit because he's like, man, I remember your rookie year. Maybe it was my second year. When I got to Kansas City, you were trying to put a hole in everyone's hands. And I had to tell you to slow down because no one wants to catch a football that's coming 100 miles per hour. Receivers don't. And what if you've followed the show, if you've listened to us and you've listened to me talk about Quinn Ewers dating back to a year ago, you hear me say this all the time: timing, anticipation, accuracy, and touch. Those are all the things that Quinn does better than anyone else in the country right now. He throws the ball on time. It's in a good spot, and the guy can catch it and not worry about one. The harder you throw it, the more pinpoint you have to be. If you throw it with good pace, I'm not even going to say touch because I think people think touch like, oh, he does no arm strength. When you throw it with the proper pace and trajectory at times, you allow the receiver to adjust to catch it and stay on the run. And Quinn does that, I think, better than anyone else in college football right now.
That's a great point with the pace, because touch is not fast or slow. Touch is correct pace.
Yes.
Right? And it is the correct pace demanded by the situation. So Quinn is fantastic. When Quinn's healthy, he's starting quarterback. Bottom line, the biggest takeaway, in my opinion, in regard to Arch is merely that he looks fucking awesome and that Texas is going to be good for years to come. And then if I'm a Longhorn fan, I am ecstatic because here I have my backup quarterback that may end up being needed in big spots. You never know.
It's a big key,
right?
especially with Quinn has been injured a few times in the past 2 years.
And so he is now getting invaluable experience. And hell, this week against a plucky ULM team, which, by the way, I talked to ULM coach on Friday, and nobody gives a shit. One of the best interviews I've ever done. I would fucking run through a wall for this man. Just a good old country football coach. Anyway, now Arch gets an entire week. Brian Vincent, shout out Coach Vincent. Now Arch gets an entire week where he's going to be the starter, and he gets to lean into that prep process, learn what that's like. He gets another game under his belt. Like, he's just gaining in strength and helping Texas become more risk-proof, right?
Yep.
It's like 100%. Diversify their portfolio essentially. How about that, crypto bro? Not all their eggs.
You know what this does too? You know what this does too? Because one, it solidifies that Arch is going to be that dude next year. I think this is a confidence builder that Texas, one, is somewhat bulletproof this season. Something does happen to Quinn because it is a longer season, and Quinn has been hurt multiple times in his career. That you have a guy that you can rely on that can jump in there and go out there and produce, and now gets an opportunity to showcase that. But what did Texas do this offseason? They returned Quinn Ewers, who was a premier quarterback in all of America. They went out there and got Isaiah Bond. They went out there and got Amari Niblack. They went out there and filled some holes at the receiving position. Well,
they lost all their receivers, and they replaced them with great receiver talent.
You're going to have to do that once again next year. But guess what? Steve Sarkisian can go into the portal, look the receivers in the eye, and say, did you see when Arch Manning played last year? That kid's damn good. Our offense is going to be the same. We need you now to be our receiver one, our tight end one, our receiver two, whatever it may be. So he can now go and fill those holes next year because there is no question mark about who's going to be the quarterback at Texas for the next couple of years, and he looks pretty damn good. It's a huge sale job for Steve Sarkisian.
That's a really good point. I hadn't even considered that when it comes to attracting talent in the future of the portal. Great point. I mean, again, so that's the takeaway. They're going to be good for years to come. And then getting to Arch's play itself, Aaron, let's dive into that then. So like, again, from a 1,000-foot view coming in, and even though you look so good 2 weeks ago when you played, and then you come in and the first play is a touchdown. It's like, what? Okay, this is getting silly. And then I don't care who it's against, for a Manning to have a 60-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
In no world. Well, and actually, that's kind of unfair because Archie, Eli Payton's dad, was actually an athletic dual threat beast back in the day, right? But Eli and Peyton were so devoid of any athleticism that we're not used to seeing that. I guess it skips a generation or the Manning just continued to evolve right in front of us, because it's not like the speed was overwhelming, but shit, there was a really good move put on a defender to win the one-on-one, and then he had enough speed to finish the touchdown. Very impressed.
Very impressed. Very, very impressed.
But what about him on actual down-to-down throwing the ball breakdown?
I thought he was good. Like I said, he was a little inaccurate at times. I thought overall, for someone coming into the game as the backup, he performed exactly how you would think he would need to. He was better than 99% of the backups out there, having to be put into a game, not essentially knowing that you're going in at that moment. 9 to 12, like I said, he made big-time throws, like that the rollout to the left, the one in the end zone, a couple other ones. I mean, we've seen him play in the past couple of weeks as well. I thought he's looked really good, like really, really good. No doubt about it. I do want to go into the chat real quick because, we have our Texas fan in here. Texas Rocked and says, Texas has QBs already committed in the next 2 classes. Every team will.
You're always going to
think of it like this
every year.
But think of this like this. Michigan has been devoid of receivers, partly due because their offense is all about running the football. Their team is all about running the football, playing defense. But if I'm in the portal, I look at Michigan and I say, who is going to be their quarterback this year? A running quarterback was the favorite, Orgy, and then a former walk-on. So not only do they not have a sexy offense, but they don't have a quarterback who can throw the football. It's like, why would any receiver look at Michigan? Now Texas, going back to that conversation, looks at Texas in the portal next year and says they got a quarterback that is proven, not a high school kid that has never taken a snap in college football, but a proven college football quarterback in that offense. Sign me up. Sign me up. Sark Sark has done a great job building this program, and this move right here adds on to that for years to come.
Okay, a couple comments to get to here. News says, what about competition? Is there any asterisk needed here for all this praise? No, look, man, I think I'm a firm believer in you can only perform. I mean, the players cannot control who lines up across them. All they can control is how they perform within that context. And so when I see Tennessee win 77-0 or whatever, I'm going to give them high marks because you dominated a lesser team as thoroughly as you can. And so I don't care if it's UTSA, and granted, UTSA is not the UTSA of the last couple of years, but still, I don't care. Like, yeah, is Texas better? Clearly. But Arch Manning came in and accounted for 5 touchdowns in a couple of quarters of play. Like, that still deserves to be celebrated. Emil talked about maybe like having packages for Arch, a la like 07 LSU with Ryan Perley. The only difference is he's not a skill set change from Ewers, right? So there's no point in having a package for him. If you had a statue, if Ewers was a complete statue and Arch was like a Jalen Milroe type of athlete, or like your Leak TBob changeup, like maybe then you explore some of that.
You're not putting Arch in there. Like, Arch is not like your lean more athlete over quarterback. Like, at the end of the day, Arch is way more of a passer than he is a runner. Like,
yes,
Arch will win you games in the future because he's a great passer that can run the ball and keep defenses on. It's not someone that you're going to build an offense around his legs.
No. Honestly, Texas probably has a quarterback that I don't know about on that roster that would be more fit to get a short yardage package.
Well, they had it last year. They
used Malik, right?
Yeah.
That who was Malik? Anyway, Murphy. Yeah, the overall takeaway, guys, stop. No quarterback competition, of course, but hook 'em indeed. If you're a Texas fan, everything just keeps coming up Longhorns lately, as it feels like you are going to be good for a very long time now. God, do I look?
Does that pain you? Does that pain you, by the way, to say that?
No, fuck no.
Okay, just asking.
I never had personal animus for Texas. I just thought that it was always a lot of hype without the follow through. Sark's resume, especially. I said if he wins 10's game, he'll prove me wrong, and he won. I mean, he won more than that, right? He proved me wrong. And so, no, I've given myself over to Texas. I got no problem with Texas.
Okay.
I'm more of a problem with, I feel like I'm looking very jaundiced